Hello and welcome to a replay cast. Today we are going to be taking a look at this beautiful tier 9 French medium autoloading tank that we can find in the French 3, the medium one obviously. This tank is a replacement to the Lorraine 40T, I think that happened like 2 or 3 months ago, and it's a very interesting vehicle. I personally like the Lorraine more, I think, because the Lorraine got a much better depression and the DPM was slightly better as well, I think. But the Batchat is, as you can see, more fitted to the scouting role than the Lorraine ever was. Hera, which is the person who sent this replay to be covered on my Czech channel, which I've done months ago actually. So yeah, I'm just piggybacking on that because I thought this was a really good replay and I wanted to show you guys this one as well. Uni tries to spot the eastern flank at the start of the game to see if there's anything, but he sees that he doesn't really have any support there, so he goes back to sniping from the base like a strong camper. Obviously, this is a French gun, so aiming at weak spots at 500 meters is not the ideal thing you want to be doing with this, especially since the weak spots of the T-30 are essentially the front of the tank, but not the turret, which is too much for this gun, it seems. Another problem that this gun has is the tiny amount of ammunition that it carries. You can see that he already shot like half of a clip. I think he reloaded with one shot left in the magazine, which means that he had around, what is that? He had 18 rounds of AP and 12 rounds of APCR, which, if I'm counting correctly, is around 6 magazines. 6 magazines total, which I think is the total amount that the Batchat has as well. 30 rounds, I believe. But the difference here, obviously, is that the Batchat has 390 alpha, whereas this vehicle only has around 300, and the penetration is not bad at 232, but obviously the APCR is a bit lacking, 263mm of penetration in comparison to the Batchat, which can safely carry like full APCR load, which is what I recommend on it, because then you don't have the problem with mismatched magazines at the end of the game. You know, the thing when you fire like 3 heat shells and 3 APCR shells, and then you have the choice of 1/2 mag of APCR, 1/2 mag of heat. Usually it's better to simply change positions and utilize your APCR rounds rather than reloading gold. I personally don't carry any heat on the Batchat at all. Anyway, in the meantime, Uni saw that the eastern flank is taken by the enemy completely, so he drove into this strong Unicam sneak position. This position is very good. It was quite recently added in the last overhaul of the map, and it means that tanks with good camo can hide here without any issues. You always have the drop on people. Obviously, you do get spotted when you fire, obviously when there's a scout like there. Like the T-49 driving through there, there's nothing you can do about that. Usually tanks can spot you even from the ridgeline over there if you shoot at them. Obviously, there is not enough room to utilize the double bushes or whatever here, but, you know, I mean, as you can see, even though the T-54E1 was firing at him, he didn't manage to connect any of his shots, which is obviously, first of all, due to the size of the tank. The Batchat 25 TAP is considerably smaller than the Lorraine, which is one of the buffs that it received, I suppose, by the replacement. And also, it is simply it's a much smaller profile. I don't know what to say more. The tank is also slightly faster, I believe. Even though the Lorraine had like more horsepower per ton, the Batchat has better traverse and stuff like that. So it's a bit more mobile in certain cases. And the size, like, it's really a huge difference. This is essentially, oh shit, this is essentially a Batchat. Whereas the Lorraine 40T was a heavier tank. It also wasn't historical, which is why I believe it was removed. Anyway, Uni saw that that flank was falling as well, so he's running away from his base. And there is the problem with the mismatched magazines that I was talking about earlier. He only has 2 full magazines of APCR because he didn't fire any yet. On auto-aim he kills the Borsig, but because he stands stationary for too long, he eats one for 550, and there's the tier 8 heavy tank, which thankfully for Uni doesn't have the derp gun, but he still manages to ammo rack Uni by a shot into his side. He finishes the Oni off and has one magazine left of APCR that is currently reloading. His team is down to the Crusader SP, which is quickly killed by the enemy Object 430, and an E75 on whole 8 hit points. Against, what is it, 7 tanks? Pretty good, hey? He sees an S51 on 350 hit points. He will be reloaded shortly, but he's doing a very good tactic, which means that the E75 can drive up and kill the S51 very easily, even though the E75 doesn't seem to be very interested in coming up on the ridgeline, because the T30 seems to be staring there, but he does, and the S51 is turned the other way. There's also a T49 driving up the ass of the E75, which Uni is trying to intercept as he's currently reloaded. He auto-aims one into him, the T49 hits him on the move, on the fly actually as well, but he doesn't manage to penetrate, so he only does something around 300 damage. We see the enemy Bulldog trying some acrobatic stunts over there to impress our team, but it did not work. Uni is driving out, the T30 misses him completely, T54 fires on the move, he kills him, Object 440 on 120 hit points, he's dead. He kills the T30 as well, and now he has 2 shells remaining for the M41 Bulldog, which is also an autoloading tank, but he doesn't have any issues finishing that tank off. Holy shit. So yeah, pretty good, eh? That was pretty good of an outcome. However, the problem here is with the ammo count. He is alone against a tier 8 Lorraine arty, which is not the worst player actually, and the arty is very fast. The main problem, however, here is that even if he manages to catch him off guard, he only has 1 shell of 300 alpha. We see that the Lorraine is open in the field, he stops to aim, Uni moves and completely dodges the shot. The Lorraine clearly didn't have enough time to aim. He tries to wait for the Lorraine to shoot him, but yeah, the Lorraine is too fast. So at this moment he only has essentially 2 options, either an insane module damage like ammo racking him or setting him on fire and hoping that he doesn't have a fire extinguisher, or shooting him once and then ramming him. And you know, module damage is not exactly something you can count on. However, Uni is driving out and he gives no shits about the Lorraine staring him down. He shoots once and there he moves. The Lorraine trains his gun so far in front of him that he doesn't manage to connect. Now we know that he has around 25 seconds to reload his gun, and Uni is coming back behind him. He has 0 shells, which is very unfortunate. He is going for the ram, but he has 200 hit points. The Lorraine is quite heavy. Will he make it? Yes, he will. That was fucking insane. Let's take a look at the stats. That was not a bad game at all. Mastery badge, obviously. Kolobanov's medal for being alone against 5 tanks. I believe it might have been like 6 or 7 even at one point, but the E75 died quite late into that encounter, so maybe only 1 versus 5. And he didn't get a Fedin's medal because he didn't kill the last enemy tank with his last shell, but he did kill the last enemy tank without any shells left in his tank, which I feel is more of an accomplishment, especially in a tank like the fucking Batchat. High caliber for high damage, obviously tank or sniper for sneep sneep scoot scoot from that Unicam sneep position, top gun for loads of kills. 6400 damage, holy shit, 7 kills, 1419 base experience with 8 medals. He fired 30 times, so my math was somewhat correct. Connected hit 29 times and connected 24 of them, which means that he bounced 5 shells and didn't hit 1. And we can see that this was an issue. If he aimed a bit better, then he would not really have an issue, that strong of an issue with the RT at the end. But you know, he managed, and I mean, who are we to criticize that play? That was a really good replay. I thank Uni, Hera very much for sending this replay. I covered this for the 2nd time, so thank him again. Big thanks to you for watching as well. If you enjoyed watching, feel free to leave a like, comment, or whatever. I'm trying this new format. I like commentated replays. I think they do work in English as well, even though my pronunciation and vocabulary is a bit lacking, but whatever. I hope you like it, and if you do, I already said that, fucking hell. See you next time. Bye!